Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and this is getting towards the end of the month. I kind of need to start thinking about using things up, but this page, I kind of let it go more naturally, and then like the last two pages of the month, I'll really try to throw everything at the layout. I had this blue paper. I really wanted to be the 12 by 12, but I had this scrap of this kind of taupey color and this blue stripe. So I thought it'd be nice to do some like horizontal torn strips with those bits. So I'm just going to trim up my 12 by 12. Um, I'm still trying to be a little frugal, even though I don't have to because we're getting towards the end of the month. But you'll still see there are a few things I decide to gut and a few things that I don't worry about. So basically, I make that decision based off of how versatile the paper is and if I really think I'm going to need it or use it on the last two pages with this kit. You see I'm tearing the top of the taupe paper and the stripe. I really like doing the torn detail this month with the not so perfect theme, just because it's never going to be straight and it's never going to be perfect, and it's a distress technique, and that's the point. So I did just do that. I'm going to gut the bottom of this blue floral, and again I'm going to piece everything onto this like cheap construction paper just to give a little bit stability to all my pieces. So I'm just going to take a moment to glue all of this down, but I'm going to have that tone on tone floral be the larger chunk across the top. And then I'm going to have the taupe and the stripe kind of staggered how they were, filling up the bottom. And I really like that. It's very pleasing to the eye. I'm thinking initially with this layout, I'm going to do this kind of taupe and blue color scheme. There's a lot of that like taupey color and different embellishments that I feel like I haven't really been able to use this month because I really haven't introduced that color on any of the other pages. That's the B side of one of the cut apart sheets. And I realized if I didn't use it as this taupey paper, I was not going to get through all of the cut aparts on the other side. I still have so much embellishment to the left here from the cut aparts that I did go ahead and trim, that I didn't want to add like save cut aparts. So I'd rather just use it as this taupey color. So this layout, that was kind of my challenge, was to incorporate that color to get a couple of those elements used up. So now I'm just trying to line everything up here to get it glued down. So where I was going with that, I was trying to stay to this two color schemes, but then I realized that I really wanted to pull in yellow. So I do end up pulling in yellow, especially because it's a page with Billy, and I just feel like with his fur, it's so complementary. I love blue and yellow together. So that's kind of where we start. I am using my dark blue Recollections archival ink to ink everything again. I've really been loving using that ink this month. Inking is another thing I really like to do when I want a not so perfect page, just because again, it's not really precise. You kind of get what you get. It's another thing you can do to distress your page, and I'm not careful with it. Like there's different smudges in different areas, and I like that look. I like when you can tell, it's handmade. So that's another element I wanted to run through this month with that theme for How to Kill a Kit with Style. So I kind of have my background down now. I have these two 4x6 photos I went ahead and glued together. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to mat them. I'm using scraps for this, so I'm kind of limited in how I can do my layers because the papers are the size that they are. But I knew I wanted to incorporate more of that taupe color. So I'm going to use that as my main mat around these 4x6s. And as you can see, I definitely did not have enough of that to go all the way around. So I'm just cheating a little bit by making it look like it's going all the way around. There's going to be big gaps on the side where it's missing. So I decided to pull in more of that stripe to get that pattern in a little bit more. And I'm going to have that look like it's a horizontal paper running behind the photo. So I'm just going to get this inked up and then I'll glue the stripes in. I was worried about these two patterns running into the background because it's literally the two other papers besides the floral that's going to be behind these layers. So that's when I really committed to adding the yellow, because I had a nice chunk of a yellow floral. It was the back side of the pink butterfly paper that I've been hoarding this month. But I thought the yellow was a really nice pop. It complemented Billy's fur, and it helped to break up these mats from around my photo from the background of the same paper. So I'm just trying to line these two scraps up here so it looks like one strip. And then here's this yellow paper. You can kind of see how all those layers blend into the background and looks busy. But as soon as you add that contrasting paper to break it up a little bit, I just love what that did. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a big yellow mat around all of these layers. Before I commit too much, I'm trying to think about what embellishment I want to use. So I'm going through the sticker sheet and I'm pulling in stickers that are in my color scheme that I'm worried about getting used up this month. So that scallopy circle with the yellow flower that says a lovely day, this banner, this yellow banner that says life is beautiful, this blue bird, and a gray, that kind of same taupey color ampersand. So those are all the stickers I pulled out from the sticker sheet to try to commit and use on this layout. And now that I kind of have my bases for my clusters, I'm going to go ahead and get my layers down. I am gutting this yellow because, again, I like that yellow paper, but the other side is also this beautiful butterfly paper. So I just wanted some more of that just in case I could get it onto the next two layouts. And again, I'm inking everything in that blue. So this is pretty much the paper layers for the layout. I'm going to get this onto the background, and then I can start with my embellishment. I contemplating gutting behind all of that, but I decided not to. I saved some of the blue and some of the yellow already, so I'm okay with the rest of it, just gluing it down. I have so many tags over here to the left from that cut apart sheet. I definitely wanted to try to get at least 2 of them used up on this page, so I did just layer a blue and a yellow one together. Those are getting inked as well. And that's going to start my primary cluster to the bottom left here. I did add a doily to kind of beef it out and break up some of the paper layers a little bit. And I'm just going to thread both of those with some yellow and white twine. So since I committed with bringing in the yellow, I wanted to add a little more. So I made sure I had a yellow tag, and I'm using the yellow in the twine. So that's going to be the base for one cluster. I'm just trying to move it around to see how much I want of like the layers underneath the tags to show. And I'm going to go ahead and commit and get this doily down too. I really like that added texture and that pop of white to kind of break up this layer a little bit. But I like this. Now I'm going through my other cut aparts. I'm looking for things in my color scheme. So the blue and yellow flowers. I contemplated pulling in some of the green because there is some green in the photos that I think I could have gotten away with. But I just feel like with adding the yellow, I didn't want to also add green because that's another color I'd have to worry about balancing. So you'll see me try a couple of these pieces that have that green in it, but I end up taking those off and just focusing on the yellow and blue only die cuts. So I like that little blue leaf in the upper right hand corner. I think that's going to be like a little cluster over there. And now I'm trying to figure out what I want. I know there's going to be a cluster down here by the tags. So visually, I want a cluster in that upper left-hand corner to create that visual triangle. So I figured I would go ahead and just layer up a bunch of the stickers I had pulled out and create a cluster with them. So I layered the banner onto some foam so it had a little bit of dimension, and that's going to go over the bird and the ampersand. You can tell it's getting lost in the background. I feel like all you can see is the yellow banner and kind of the bird and the ampersand are getting lost. So I will go back and add a die cut behind all of that. And I think it helps it stand out a little more, not get so lost. But that's just going to sit up there like that for a little bit. I know I want those stickers up there. I just have to figure out the best way to finish it where it doesn't look so lost. But now I'm going to play around with a couple of my other die cuts. So I went through and grabbed all of my blue flowers, all of my yellow flowers, and I'm just trying to create little floral clusters in my 2 other areas of embellishment. And this moves around a lot. I think I really liked what I started out with, and then I just kept adding more until it looked crazy, and then I had to take it all back off again to try to pile on the correct amount. And that happens several times because I go a little crazy with trying to use all the things. Um, I am going to pop this sticker, the scallopy circle sticker, up on some foam. I really wanted to layer that down here with the tags. So I have that element too, but it just, it goes from balance to chaos very quickly when I keep adding all the things. So it just takes me a couple trials to get the right balance of all of these pieces. I really have fun towards the end of the month where I have the freedom to use all the things and I'm not feeling like I need to hoard stuff to get me through the month. But sometimes I cross into this zone where I'm like, I have so much to use in so little time, get it all on the page type of thing. So this is where I went back. I got a yellow floral to layer behind this cluster at the top. It helps a lot, even though it still looks a little busy from this top down view. In person, that made all the difference in you being able to see all of those stickers together. That yellow really helped to break up that stuff from the background. So I did just glue that down. I'm also going to use some staples up there to add some more pops of silver, but I don't think I do that just yet. I really loved using my tiny attacher this month too. I have a scrap of the branding strip from that blue floral that is in the background. So I just trimmed a piece of that into a banner to add to that big cluster at the bottom. And I think that looks really nice. It kind of helps branch that tag cluster out to the right. I'm thinking my title is going to be right there along the bottom. So having that horizontal line kind of helps visually build that out and set the kind of base for my title. And now that I have that horizontal line, I'm trying to build on that too with some more of these flowers. So again, just playing around with all these die cuts and trying to find a way to use them all and them not look too chaotic. So that's all I'm doing right now is going back and forth. I decided to take a break on shuffling all the die cuts and get my title down. I'm using these navy foam alphas again. I have also loved using these. I've used these, I think, on almost every layout this month, and I love this navy blue with this collection. I'm just titling this Out and About. This layout is documenting a couple errands I was running that I was able to bring Billy with. Billy, with him originally being in the guide dog program, he was used to coming everywhere with me. And then obviously when he got fired and became a pet instead, I couldn't bring him everywhere. So whenever we run errands that are at places that allow dogs, I'd always try to bring him. But particularly after his last surgery and the poor prognosis, we really made a point to bring him anywhere we could because we just knew he loved it so much. So we went to like Home Depot and PetSmart, and the bottom photo, I even took him with me to go get my car emissions done, which he loved. We go through Starbucks and he gets a pup cup. And it's just a really fun time. He has so much fun being able to come with me again because I knew he really missed that. It's kind of was probably a hard transition for him from going from always going everywhere with me to not being able to. So we really liked being able to do this for him any chance we could. So I think the Out and About, there were a couple other titles I wanted to use, but I didn't have the letters for, but I think this kind of sums it up. After the fact, I don't think I do it on camera, but I do just add a little line of journaling below at the very bottom of the page in a navy pen that says Billy loves coming with whenever he can. Here we stopped by PetSmart, Home Depot, and got our car emissions done just so I could document the actual photos and remember like this was what I was documenting. But I like all of that. I love what that title adds. So now I'm back with shuffling around the die cuts. I think I've almost created the balance. I'm starting to glue the stuff down. So I like what I have here. I kind of have that one floral cluster in the upper right hand corner. That's just a little accent cluster. And then kind of like a floral cluster framing each side of the larger cluster on the bottom. And I really like that. I think that kind of struck the balance. So it's just going to take me a little bit to get this stuff glued down. And then there's a couple things I know I want to use as my finishing touch. I really want those tiny attacher silver staples. because I want to use some of those brads that also have silver. And using the staples and the brads together are really giving a nice pop of that metallic to my pages. So I've really enjoyed using them together. So here are the brads. I'm trying to figure out what to do. There actually is a tiny taupe colored brad. So I added that to that top cluster. And then I'm going to add a blue bow on a taupe background to the other cluster to the right. And then just a blue moth and a yellow floral to the big cluster. Just I felt like that cluster was so much bigger, it needed two. But I like how those brads are kind of forming that visual triangle as well. Here I'm going back with my tiny attacher. I'm adding 3 to the upper left-hand corner and 3 to the end of my title, just so I have those staples in opposite corners. I think that helps balance that technique out a little bit. And I could have been done here, but there's so many word stickers on this sticker sheet still. I'm really surprised I haven't used more word stickers this month. So I really wanted to get at least 2 on here. So I did just take a yellow and a blue one that says Together and Love Us. I'm popping those up on some foam and adding those above the doily just to finish off the big cluster. And I do like how those look. I didn't need them, but I am glad I added them, and I'm glad I had an excuse to use some more word stickers. So I got a little bit of everything on this page. I used several stickers, several die cuts, couple tags, a branding strip, and this is what came out of it. So here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.